In this presentation here, we are talking about the graphite transfer process. And the lesson objectives are to demonstrate the graphite transfer process by practicing on newsprint paper and the final drawing paper, as well as to understand the steps to complete the graphite transfer process in order to transfer your rough draft drawing onto the final drawing paper. So we actually use this method a lot in this class, and the thing is we need to transfer your rough draft drawing on newsprint onto the final drawing paper because you spent time working on that rough draft. But we need to put it on some nice drawing paper. And these are examples of the contour drawing, right? We need to get it onto that white paper so you can put all the textures. So we're going to practice. You can either watch the demo first or follow along with the demonstration. So for the practice, you're going to need a piece of compressed graphite. So what it literally is, it's a little stick of graphite, kind of like the graphite that's in your pencil. But this is great for getting a lot of graphite on your newsprint. You'll also need a square newsprint piece of paper, and you can see how it works, how the compressed graphite works like that. You'll also need a square of the final white paper, very similar to what you are going to be using for your project. You'll also need some tape, and you'll also need a colored pencil, preferably not black or yellow. It should be a color that's actually going to show up on the newsprint. And you might need a kneaded eraser, and I'll show you how to use that later on for this process. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your square of newsprint paper and you're going to draw an emoji. So you may need to look up some examples of emojis. As you can see here, I would keep it fairly simple. We just need a line drawing to practice with. So I think an emoji is a great idea. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my emoji on the newsprint paper. Mine's going to be winking. Okay, so I have my drawing and now I'm going to actually grab my compressed graphite. So now I have my graphite, I'm flipping my newsprint over and I'm going to shade a bunch of that graphite. I'm actually using the side of the graphite stick and you really don't need too much, but if you're not sure, you can always ask me to check, or you can even test out the graphite transfer yourself first, even before you actually draw over the lines that you drew. Now you may notice that your fingers will get a little bit messy due to the graphite. That's totally normal. You can stop and wash your hands. Now I'm taking the white paper. I am placing the newsprint on top. I'm taking 2 pieces of tape here so I can tape the newsprint to the white paper. Yes, sometimes the tape is too sticky, so you can actually make the tape less sticky by putting it on your pants and then removing the tape. And that just removes some of the stickiness because we don't want to ruin your newsprint paper either. So now I'm taking my colored pencil and I'm drawing over the lines. I'm just using a nice even pressure. This is not the time to use searching lines because every line that you draw on that surface will transfer onto the white paper. So yes, you don't want to accidentally draw the wrong line. As you're doing this practice, you can always stop and check to see if it's transferring. If it's not, you might need more pressure with your pencil or you just need more graphite on the newsprint. This is our time to practice. So here I am drawing over the lines and we're using the colored pencil so we can actually see where we drew our lines. If we don't use a colored pencil, we don't know which lines have transferred. So now at this point, I have transferred all of my lines. I'm going to remove the tape. And yes, it did rip the newsprint a little bit, so that's for you to discover. And there we are. It is kind of hard to see in the video here, but there is a faint outline of that emoji I drew. And if you feel like the lines are a little too dark, you can take a kneaded eraser and dab the surface to remove some of that graphite, because we don't want your graphite to be too dark when you move on to the next step.